E-Gaming Bets. We accept bets on computer games online since 2011. Referral system for regular users and the first deposit bonus. Gaming devices store and the best choice of payment systems. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, Counter-Strike and StarCraft, World of Tanks and League of Legends. EGB.com. You know for sure who's going to win.
G2A.com, the best video game store ever! Fast as lightning, solid as a rock, cheap as duck! What's more, you can sell on it because it's also a marketplace. Remember G2A.com, the best video game store ever!
Welcome back. Game number 2 about to kick off here in the DotaPit Season 4 NA qualifiers. I'm Durka in the JD Studios, and Leviathan are playing up against Complexity. Complexity are leading the charge in the grid right now. In fact, let's just take a quick little look. There we go. Complexity up at the top. 2 series, 2 wins, 6 points. Leviathan not looking so hot. 1 draw and 1 loss, and they really need some points to their name as we head back. Take a look at the draft. Welcoming my my statsman, Cart Dota, and my co-caster, Dragon Drop. The draft this time around, a little more standard from Complexity, and a little more wonky, a little weirder from Leviathan, I think.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Ancient Aberration picks, but none in the first phase that I can remember. Similar kind of story for Tiny, that of course a little bit different. We have seen a lot of Tinies even without the Wisp. Run as cores, run as mid even with another support to try and help out. Or, well, you said it in the last game's draft, I believe, just throwing it in there as kind of an off-lane Tiny too. So options are open as far as Leviathan is concerned, and well, it's not like they're bad heroes to begin with either.
Complexity's turn to
Versatile enough, I suppose.
The Pudge first phase banned from Complexity as well. They just don't want Leviathan to have that in the hands of Jenkins. So Tiny AA. The Tiny could go mid, could go off lane, could go safe lane. Earth Spirit is still there, so they could still have their Tiny Earth Spirit combination for the off lane duo. But Complexity, what are you going to ban out? What options do we have left? Like really big key heroes that are still out there that you'd still be super afraid of?
Invoker, funny enough, is still in the pool. So, but then again, they didn't have too many problems with that in the last game. Maybe they want to pick it for themselves and chance at getting through here and picked up a Leviathan again.
I think Juggernaut, actually. Against the Gyrocopter,
yeah.
Juggernaut, they've got AA, so you can't pick AA for yourselves to counteract any kind of sustain lineup they go for. The Earth Spirit, okay. That's the one I look at. So the Tiny Earth Spirit lane cannot be. They're not going to be able to get their hands on it. So Leviathan still can get something like a Jug. Dazzle is still out there. The Witch Doctor is a possibility. But Complexity against the Tiny, there's no Wisp combination. So you don't need to go for like Disruptor, the Witch Doctor, you don't necessarily need these combinations. They still could be good.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Disruptor against most drafts, even if you don't have that direct counter to one particular set of heroes, it's always a great hero to just control team fights and make sure that they at least can't go anywhere and they're snugly left in place for the cooldown to hit for everything else that you have on your table to connect properly. So if they want to go for a Disruptor, they still can. It also kind of changes the game a little bit to a point where if Leviathan commits to a team fight, they have to really commit, because they can't really get out without losing an extra hero to the glimpse. It's also really annoying to play around sometimes, just with teleports, just having to wait a couple of seconds before you can actually show yourself in lane. Well, Disruptor wouldn't hate to pick in pretty much any draft. I'm not sure if either team really wants to go for that here. It's gonna be Lina here, probably mid for Leviathan here.
Yeah, should be Lina. That was one of his real big go-to heroes. TA Lina, bit of Queen of Pain, bit of this, bit of that, bit of Storm. I think it's going to be the mid Lina. Offlane Tiny AA, and that's in that 5 spot down in bottom lane probably. But Complexity, what are you looking at? Tusk Gyro. The options are pretty much limitless for them at this point. They can go for anything they want to. Support, they can look towards an off-laner. I think Gyro is the only one set in stone pretty much. Like 90% certain he's going to be safe lane, but we have seen Limp go mid Gyrocopter. Against the Queen of Pain in particular though. That's usually when you pick up the Gyro mid, is for that max homing missile. Against the Lina, it's not going to be that great.
Yep. Who do you actually want up against Lina? Did Invoker still in the pool? They're probably thinking about that. If they want to get that on their ranks. Then again, what else comes to mind that really does well against Lina? Do you want to go back for something like a Windrunner? Just try and trade farm and then later down the line have that extra semi-core for the extra physical damage?
Yeah, I don't know. You could still go for something like a TA and throw TA mid.
Yeah.
Does decently against the Lina. It's going to be kind of annoying against Tiny AA. Good ways of burning refraction down, but then you have this dual core of Gyro TA that can create space for each other, have good early game, mid game, and late game potential with their damage output. They do combo pretty nicely together. Leviathan. What are they looking at
5
though?
seconds remaining.
Need another support hero.
yeah.
Need probably safe lane carry as well. So Ziz,
Reserve time.
I still really like Juggernaut here. I really want them to pick up Jug.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. It's great against Tusk, against Gyro, able to save themselves. It brings you that sustain that you can use to just sustain pushes. You on the back of the Tiny, just whacking away at buildings sooner or later. It's definitely a very stable pick. If they want, they can go back for something like a Lycan themselves. I've actually seen Lone Druids being picked up recently a couple of times. There's also sorts of things that you can pick up if you want to. I don't think that they're probably not thinking about any sort of late game carry because they already got the Tiny who has that covered. So I'm thinking more of someone that can be effective in the mid game together with Lina. So once again, Juggernaut would fit that niche pretty well.
Taking their sweet time on this. 35 seconds left. Witch Doctor gives them that little bit of a heal sustain. You know, the Dazzle Witch Doctor I was mentioning comes out for Leviathan. Complexity. I'm kind of assuming Tusk is going to be that roaming support. Rubik helping out, and they still need offlaner plus mid here for Swindles as well as Chessie.
What did you think about a Slaughter for Leviathan now? It's kind of the utility / one row.
I don't know how I feel about Slardar in general.
10 seconds
Like,
remaining.
the fact that his vision game got completely nerfed with the amplified damage getting taken out. TA is perfect for complexity.
Dire team ban.
I just don't, like, I never liked Slardar one roll to begin with because he's too finicky. If you get aggro tried and you don't get the early blink, then you're screwed. You're just not a hero anymore, and then you're a support. You're a shit little fish wandering around and slithering into death.
10 seconds remaining.
I want more
5
sustain.
seconds
I want
remaining.
them to be able to outlast because complexity here have initial jump, initial burst, rocket barrage cooldown, snowball ice shards, TA, melt strike, telekinesis. You know, it's just this one big hit from complexity. If Leviathan can have a hero here for the one roll that can outlast that, I think they're good. Like Wraith King would
10
be
seconds
decent, I think.
remaining.
Again with the cold feet for Wraith King. Oh my
5
god, Wraith Fire
seconds
Blast.
remaining.
The combination is still pretty damn good there. Good against TA, good against Gyro. Juggernaut would be decent. Oh, Phantom Lancer, okay. So PL's good against Gyro, TA, good at burning through refraction. And that would be able to, I guess, outlast the majority of the damage just by doppelgangering away.
I think Slar could also be another option for them, just having that sneaky kind of guy, just able to dodge some of that stuff. And then come back in on the back of his ultimate healing up and kind of re-entering the fight, outlasting like that. So if you're looking for that, that would be another option. Also great to just get an expert
10
lockdown.
seconds remaining.
Keep track of Temple Assassin, burn away refraction as well.
5 seconds remaining.
It's also a fishy kind of guy, but yeah, actually they don't have too much lockdown right now
Reserve time.
to actually stop him from jumping around. All we have is a task a little bit from the Rubik. Then after that they're gonna have to rely on just the burst damage that they have to finish him off before he could actually get out. Maybe they want to run the Tiny in one position though, then together with Witch Doctor, Ancient Apparition, and pick up another offlaner, so that's another option Leviathan can consider
10
right now.
seconds remaining.
Question is
5
that
seconds remaining.
worth it? Is there okay, yeah, no, never mind. Didn't quite expect the anti-mage. It's kind of interesting, but it should secure them the late game.
If they can get him that farm, yeah. But one of the biggest, like, I think the great thing here about Leviathan's draft, one of the biggest weaknesses of AM, similar to what I was saying about Slardar, is that teams like to aggro into him. Either they aggro into him, they ward his jungle, they stop him getting to Battle Fury, or they stop him getting from Battle Fury to the next
10
item.
seconds
And those are the
remaining.
kind of the two key points in limiting the AM's progression through items.
5 seconds
Then you
remaining.
then you look to stop him split pushing and soloing towers with good pick-off heroes like Spirit Breaker, charge around, catch him,
Reserve time.
stuff like that. Complexity don't have that second option. So I think aggressive tri-lane here could really work out pretty well for them. Gyro, Tusk, Rubik go aggro into the into the AM, but then
10
you look at what
seconds
Leviathan have
remaining.
already. Witch Doctor, AA, AM. They've got Cask, Chilling Touch.
5 seconds
Aggroing into that is
remaining.
pretty damn scary, even with telekinesis plus Gyro. So Slardar gonna be Complexity's pick up here. Interesting. Swindle Slardar, I guess.
So yeah, so it looks like they don't really want to go all that aggro into the lane as they described. It's kind of a chance to go into, but instead they're gonna go for more of that mid game kind of strategy, trying to get what you can out of the lanes, and rely on the physical burst damage that the TA provides, especially together with the Slaughter, the initiation that he brings together with the Tusk, as well as the extra minus armor that will be quite good to just burn through the anti-mage, spell shield or not. And even a tiny for that matter.
Let's take a look how exactly they lane themselves up, because I think this is going to be a little bit of mind games here from both teams. And yeah, initially
Prepare
Swindle
for
straight up the
battle.
top, get the ward down, know who you're dealing with as the delayed TP mid from the ancient apparition.
Jenkins.
Yeah, for those of you that didn't catch the first game, Jenkins had a broodmother and Swindles called him out saying, "That hero doesn't have a stun, are you sure you can handle it?" Jenkins replied, "That hero goes off lane, are you sure you can handle it?" to the Earthshaker of Swindles, but Swindles, he came out on top in the previous game. This is game number 2 though,
Thanks.
Leviathan against Complexity. DotaPit Season 4, brought to you by G2A and Join Dota. Let's see, Leviathan, what are you up to? 5 men towards this bottom rune spot. It looks like the Radiant are signaling out
30
Roshan,
seconds to battle.
although I don't think it's really possible.
No, not really. No, not in any world. That is wholly level 1 bush should be possible here with this line. But yeah, they'll have to be wary, but it looks like it's gonna be that one standard one for one Rune Jade, unless Jesse just decides to feed the first blood
The
at the same
battle
time.
begins.
Somehow don't think that he'll do that.
Money to burn.
Trade-off bounty rune 1 apiece, Lina TA. Let's get theirs. This Lina versus Templar Assassin lane though, this is something we've seen for the past 2 patches or so. It was very popular at one point, where the TA was picked up specifically to try and defeat the Lina mid. With Sideblades with a splashback, can definitely get an upper hand, but Fairy Fire, 2 of them. With the Null Talisman from Shibby. Delayed bottle, so that TA will get the bottle a hell of a lot earlier than the Lina will. Get these last hits in. Already off to a good start with the initial deny. Hanskin. Sentry up this camp, so Jenkins cannot pull and toss across. Multiple times anyway. He'll be able to get this one with a Centaur. Pull, toss to creep wave. There's pull number 1. But he's not going to get any more.
That's cool actually. I haven't seen that before.
This is what they do with like Tiny Earth Spirit lane, Pudge Earth Spirit lane. They'll do a lot of farming of this camp here. Oh, Hanskin. You sneaky little bastard. What are you doing over here? They see him. Jenkins knows he's there. And Jenkins is not going to get any last hits. He can't get towards the big Centaur. Oh, Hanskin gets it. Rubik wins. This fight is over.
Oh man, this is just fun to watch. That's exactly what I expect to see, these kind of plays around these new hard camps. Not just with the offlanes like Bad Rider and Tide Hunter that can really just benefit from that, stack them up, but even with these crazy controls that you can pull off. No pun intended. So hey, Hanskin on top of the game, knows what's up. Not gonna let that happen.
Shibby, that was very, very ballsy. You don't have a salve, you don't have boots, you don't have bottle, and Limp is going to get in here with some Sideblade splashes perhaps and kill you off. Goodness gracious me. So Shibby went in on mid. Maybe could have killed the courier, but he went for the direct kill on the Templar Assassin and misjudged his damage. Now I think this TA is going to have a pretty good time of things at mid. The Shibby did have a CS lead, but that's going to get taken out of his hands now. Up the top, we did have a dual lane. We still do actually, as Z-Freak will sentry up that pull camp. Swindles will get some experience as this lane pushes in. Oh, God. Hanskin with a DD move to mid. Jenkins will get the counter kill. It's the first blood I've missed in about a week. And now I'm sad. Sad and disappointed. The Toby legacy lives on, in me.
Well, I've done it too, multiple times, so hey. But yeah, I mean, who expects Rubik to just kill you as lean? I mean, it's not like Shibby was low, but he was starting to heal up with that. He had like a third of his health, I believe. Don't expect the DD Rubik to come out behind the trees.
Oh, I didn't even see the DD get picked up. It was like TA gets bounty, pops bounty, 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 bounty. DD was picked up in between. Tusk, stunned up. Ziz wants to get in here with Maldic damage down. He'll dodge the crush, blink forward, and he'll get a kill on the Tusk. The TP coming in from the Rubik. If they can get this kill on the anti-mage, doesn't look like Hanskin can actually get in range fast enough. And it's actually Leviathan that want to turn and fight this. Swindles drops low. He's got salve and stick charges though. So he will be fine. But they've left this 1v1 now. Chessie up against Jenkins. A Gyro against the Tiny. But this Gyro already has a pretty dominating lead in CS over the Tiny.
It's a good call from this there up top. I mean, realizing that Swindles just uses stun, so he can actually go for that aggressive link in to claim blast hit directly under tier 1 tower. And if he got stunned up there with the tower aggro on top of him and the TP coming in, then anti-mage would have probably died as it stands, knowing that that wasn't on the table. Taking the opportunity, grasping it, and getting themselves an assist at the very least. So,
Swindles is still getting a good amount of levels here. He's about to hit level 4. Good. Stop this pull across as well. Up at the top rune spot though. Should be held in place a tiny bit by the Tusk and the TA, but with a haste rune, this Lina is pretty happy just to run himself away.
well, just say he's at just the right time. Kind of annoying too, but hey, at the same time, it's kind of calmer as well. They were able to get the double damage and secure the first blood, so a little bit calmer there, I suppose, for Shibi to get a haste rune there, save his life, and make sure that he's not going to be caught out by anything fancy.
Chessie,
Yeah, apart from that,
Chessie on the Radiant side going for the treads. So he's not gone for that phase boots helm we saw from Ziz in the previous game, and this is like more of a personal preference thing between players. Oh god, Swindles in a bit of trouble. Crush to slow down Ziz's damage output, but Chilling Touch, Maledicts won't be enough to pop him, and Swindles actually turns to fight Nushim under the tier 1. Damage output onto Swindles. Will be forced back to base with no salve or regen left. That's fine though. He's causing problems. He's forcing Leviathan to have 3 heroes here to deal with the Slardar. That's exactly what he wants. That's exactly what his team wants. Because that means mid. This Tusk and TA can look for a kill onto Shibi. With the trap snowball forward, Shibi, LSA is there onto both of them. But I don't think you're getting away from this. With a second trap slow and the Fade Bolt. Complexity will clear up the Lina.
good execution. Jenkins is there, not close enough to actually try and help, but at least he'll be able to take over the lane. Get some extra free CES and experience, perhaps. That also leaves, in turn, Chessie down in the bottom to just keep farming more and more. He's right on top there with the anti-mage in terms of last hit, so it's kind of wash here. Swindle's getting as much out of the off-lane as Jenkins has been able to so far too, so more or less even apart from this middle lane where Shibi has died twice now, and that's for any mid laner, that's not really a good start, even though he did get that one counter kill.
Oh, Jenkins, cheeky. Not going to stop the regen rune being picked up by Limp though. I'm looking at this ancient apparition though, man. It's 6 minutes in.
Yeah, and does Chessie know he's there?
I don't think it matters, honestly. Oh, Hanskin,
he finds him. He's gonna find him.
Teddy
Let's go all the way, man.
They bump into each other. Yeah.
Should be an easy kill.
Oh,
Just
he's
lift up.
dead for sure, like 100%. There's no way this AA survives. I feel so. I was feeling sorry for him already. The fact he's got 200 net worth, 6 minutes in. Can't afford boots. Can't afford observer wards. Can't afford anything. He's level 3.5. This is an awful game to be an underleveled ancient apparition in, because you need that ice blast.
At least he can still pursue a career as an artist, just planting up little trees everywhere. He has 2 tangos.
I guess so.
Not tangos, iron branches.
Branches, yeah.
But hey, I guess poor artists also is kind of fitting with that. Yeah, it's
Pretty low win rate for offlane Tiny.
yeah, 36.4%. Oh.
Every single one of those wins that offlane Tiny has, Sexy Bambo. 4 CNL, offlane Tiny, Jenkins out of the range of the cooldown, just about. Chessie. He's looking for the side swipe onto him. But it's a smoke up again, no? Yes, no. Complexity. They'll smoke themselves across this mid lane and look for Shibi again. They've stacked up Ancients a fair amount.
Like
Taps
Zebra's
down.
here, but it's not a whole lot that you can do. But tank the gank at the very least. Should be still
I
be
mean,
slowed down. But
He's a worthless kill at this point. He doesn't freaking give you anything.
Zebra's gonna take it again.
Let's see.
Anyway.
Fight recap. Give me that. Show fight recap.
Dire's bottom
Ancient Apparition loses 90 gold. That's actually a big chunk of his total net
Dire's
worth.
structures are fortified.
That means more than maybe I thought it did. Negatively to the AA, not really positively to the Radiant side. A kill is a kill, obviously. You're getting a little bit of change onto your Rubik and your Tusk, but Ancient Apparition, my goodness.
He's not getting his level 6 anytime soon either at this rate. And that's actually a super useful spell to have to just try and counteract. Just the stick charges here from TA, from Slaughter if you want to go on any sort of gank attempt on them. I mean, the stick charges was what saved Swindles a little bit earlier, when Leviathan went on them with the cask.
Tempo Assassin now taking that big old Ancient stack, so Limp will boost himself up on the net worth, get up to about 4k. Well, Hansken, he's busy dewarding here. The Sentry, oh, that's a little bit sad actually. Sentry barely going to miss out on this Observer Ward up on the high ground. But he will get himself closer to level 6. 340 experience and all that. Now he's going to start stealing Dragon Slave and Avalanche Toss, things like that. But it's this anti-mage up on top that they do have to be a little bit worried about, except down the bottom lane. Yep, Jesse's dead. The roam gank comes in. And Jenkins with Lena.
Doesn't it?
Jenkins with Shibby. We'll find a kill onto the Gyrocopter.
Well, and that should give Jenkins some extra space to get his levels more than anything else. Ideally, you want to have the blink or the treads strong.
Guess who's dead again? Oh, is he not dead? He's not dead. He survives.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. Unless the creeps find him and kill him off, but nah, it's not quite that bad just yet, but almost. He's dropping down to 10 hit points, but
See, I was close. Bambo has 2 out of the 3 wins Offlane Tiny has in total. I knew it would be him. Right, you can't give us that stat without telling us who the third win
Dire's
is.
middle tower is under
yeah,
attack.
come on,
Is
Car.
it Jenkins? who has that third win? Out
Who
of the
else
3?
runs Offlane Tiny?
It's just gonna be some random person like, whoops, we accidentally picked Offlane Tiny. You know?
Swindles.
Can Jenkins catch this actually? He needs a toss onto Hansken. He needs an avalanche onto Hansken. He's not going to get either of them onto Hansken. Jenkins is now behind this tier 1. Ah, there we go. There we go. TP's away. And we'll escape the wrath of the Templar Assassin.
Well, they got that going for them, but at least Swindles was able to make it out again. He's sitting at 0-0-0, and considering the kind of trial that he was up against, it's actually quite good.
Dire's
Just
bottom tower
came
is
off
under
a
attack.
kill attempt here with the Mana Void use as well as the Death Ward up in top lane, and it's one of these situations where if there was an Ice Blast, well,
Dire's
wouldn't have
bottom
wouldn't have
tower is
happened.
under attack.
Buy boots. Ancient Apparition, you have more than enough money to buy boots. Buy boots. Please, just buy your boots.
They're
Buy
cheaper
your
now. Haven't you read the patch notes?
Buy your boots. Is he actually waiting for 450 gold? Oh. I'm not sure. We saw Blink for TA though. It's going to be brought out on the courier in a second, and that's going to give Shibby an awful time. With the TA blinking forward. You just watch the AA. That's your job now, Dragon Drop. Your job is to watch the AA, tell me what he buys and when.
I'm up to the challenge. He's dewarding right now, so but Jenkins is getting that gold. Not giving that over. He's going to side shop and buying boots. Okay.
Oh, top.
And the TP scroll.
Blink forward, or blink back from the AM, and Swindles, he tanks up the big old Death Ward, and he should drop from that Maledict, but Nusha will pay for that with his life. A 1-for-1, but support for offlaner there. The anti-mage gets himself back. That also cost them a rotation from Limp,
Radiant's
so
middle
I think that's
tower
decent
is
for
under
Leviathan.
attack.
Pretty damn good, actually.
Yeah, just only use support for the offlane who's got a decent amount of levels at this point, so create some space elsewhere for Shiri, who's just laying in some damage on a tier 1 tower mid now. Also working on the deal set, the way it looks of it. So definitely valuable. The question is though, how much value can Limp get out of the blink dagger now? It's rotating around. Swindles gets the vision on Shibby at the very least. Limp thinking about it. At this point, max level melt plus the amplified damage, even without a desolate on TA, that should be a big chunk of physical damage coming out already.
Gyrocopter has bought himself a cloak.
Oh. Ether lens? Question mark?
I don't know.
No, that wouldn't make sense, I suppose.
I'm super confused here. I don't think I've ever seen it.
I guess it's a value cloak, but against what? There's no Ice Blast. Would be Lena, the only other hero who could do that kind of damage.
Oh god. Oh yeah, I was looking at Lena. She's nearly got a Yule Scepter, but AM taken out top. Jenkins wants to go back in onto Limp though. Shibby is rotating across and oh for God's sake. No! No! We're getting so confused about the bloody cloak on Chessie that we're missing 2 kills in a row. Fuck.
Yeah, I blame you. Why'd you have to bring that up?
Why did I have to look at the gyro and see a cloak on? Yeah, that's 100% on me actually. Blame Durka. What an idiot.
Well, I guess we can just ignore it and blame Skim instead. No one will give us some trouble for that either. But hey, yeah, I mean,
like Ether Lens doesn't work on Rocket Barrage, does it?
No, it shouldn't.
It's just targeted spells.
Oh, Yule Scepter. Light Strike Array on Hanskin. Shibby just looking to bring him down, but Hanskin still alive.
He's got a toss up onto the gyro. He's gonna get taken out, but Shibby running away with a haste, and then he runs back into the gyrocopter.
That's actually too hilarious.
So the hasted Lena runs here, outside of the Rocket Barrage range, and then runs back into the Rocket Barrage range to die. Chessie looking for that AA, but he won't find it.
Hey, he's level 6 now. Use the ultimate.
Congratis, where is it heading? Up to top. Trap is down. Ziz is caught with the punch as well. Limp. Damage output's good, but not good enough. Ice Blast will land onto both of them. But Nusham and Ziz don't really have a good way of chasing them down or getting that catch.
Nusham got the cask off, and they would have stayed as close together as they were, then maybe they could have actually done something. Because that's pretty much a stun lock for a good couple of seconds. Without them really being able to do too much.
All they need now is Anti-Mage to get the Battle Fury. And he's about 400 gold away from it.
At the same time though, Gyro, with all that's been happening, he's actually got quite a decent lead towards him. I mean, the cloak, once again, I don't believe he'll build it into anything, and now he's going for the BKB anyway, by the looks of it. Could still be Sanjin Asha, I suppose, with the Ogre Club, and that makes a little bit more sense, but... Well, I guess we'll find out whether it'll impact the game at all or not, but... The biggest start for me right now is Temple Assassin, and Lim, he's working on this Desolator right now. Once that gets up, Des will blink, which should be at a pretty good timing too. Maybe Carl can actually look that up. What some standard timings are on that particular item combination as we watch the snowball up top.
Anti-Mage shredded. Nusham throws the Death Ward and won't get Sea Freak though. So turn it around a little bit. Down at bottom though, they've got the Lena. Gyrocopter clears that one up with his casual cloak not dropping to that Lena combination. I guess with Lena and Tiny both there, you know, this casual cloak definitely works out for them.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I guess up against a Tiny Burst, that's actually another thing that we haven't considered. This is all magical damage, so...
Anti-Mage Mana Void, Tiny Burst, Lena Burst, Ice Blast, yeah, casual cloak. Forget Ether Lens, just because it's a new item, you're not going to go for it. I was just
it makes zero sense on Gyro. It's just the first thing that came to mind when I saw a cloak on a hero that wouldn't normally pick it up.
It's like, especially when he's gone for so many stats. I guess with the added strength from Drums Aquila plus the Ogre Club, you're getting more value out of the cloak as well. But BKB next, I guess? Or do you want to see Gyro go SNY or BKB as his next item?
Want to say BKB. At the same time though, I mean, with the casual cloak, kind of setting yourself up for being able to tank through any sort of magic damage. And then at this point the BKB would only be useful up against just the stunning components, which you don't really want to be caught with in the first place. So if you want to go a little bit more aggressively, go for Sanjin Yasha. Just make sure that you have that extra tankiness as well as mobility, sustain, extra damage to play with and fight, all the cool stuff that SNY gives you.
I don't know, I think SNY is more middle of the road item. It's like I can farm, I can fight, I can do a bit of this, bit of that. BKB is I'm going to go with my Templar Assassin who has Blink, Desolator, DD, and we're just going to go and brute force these towers. We're going to go and take Roshan, we'll take your lives, we'll take your towers, and we'll stop Anti-Mage getting that big burst of farm because he just got his Battle Fury. They did limit his kind of timing on Battle Fury by a good 3-4 minutes. but now is another key period where they stop him split pushing, which they're doing right now with the wraparound on bottom lane, and they stop him transitioning into that secondary item. They've got the...
Ouch!
I'm sorry, but
DD Melt Strike!
Anti-made... Anti-who?
Anti.
I had him selected, and it was telekinesis into goodbye.
I'm checking combat log.
How much damage did they actually, like, how much HP does he have, and how much damage did they actually do to him? Because that's freaking insane.
Is under attack.
I'm checking the combat log.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Well, Swindles continues to farm 200 gold away from his Blink Dagger.
There you go.
Dire's middle tower
303 meld damage and then hit for 432. And then you add in, you know, Crush, and all the damage output from like Fable and stuff like that. Oh, Jenkins, he's been caught with a call down onto him. BKB from Chessie as well. A little bit wasteful, but this will allow them to take the tier 2 down at bottom lane. And they have just taken down Roshan with the Aegis for that Limp Templar Assassin.
And I guess if your TA is in that kind of spot where but it kind of fills up the slot that the Jar counter would be getting into right now, going for the BKB, just not having the physical damage to play with. Well, you've got TA for that, and at this point, even with no BKBs in sight really for anyone on Leviathan, your magic damage is still doing more than enough for you to still be effective even without any sort of extra stat items, extra utility items to play around with. So yeah, BKB makes a lot of sense. You'll probably sell the cloak at some point then, though.
Just keep the cloak. It's fine.
Maybe just wants to be
item slot or anything.
Maybe it just wants to look stylish. Maybe it's cold in the winter time now. It just wants a cloak. I don't know.
It is a bit chilly here, honestly. It's super cold in Berlin and a little bit windy. I was freezing my nuts off outside.
Oh. when I went to get lunch today at work, it was the wind was blowing so hard that my nose almost froze off. That was not fun.
I think it's about 0 degrees here or something. It's getting to the point where it's going to snow soon. We didn't have a white Christmas, but we might have a snowy New Year's, but we'll see.
We haven't had a white Christmas in a couple of years actually. And then what snow we did have, at least in Rostock, I'm not sure how it was in Berlin, but we had like maybe 2 weeks of proper snow, and the rest was just sludge and icy. And
It lands, and it turns to shit instantly.
Yeah.
Nasty snow. Well, Leviathan are moving top, Complexity are moving mid. They're going to dodge each other for now. What new items are we seeing actually? So Rubik did finish off Ether Lens. Nothing big on the Tusk. Chessie with 2600 gold saved up, 3500 on Limp. Swindles has the beacon, has the Blink Dagger with a cloak as well, so he can try and last through. Damage Leviathan throw at them. But the Anti-Mage. I don't know, man. 8.7k net worth, he's got Battle Fury 2300 gold, but he can't split push. Your base is being destroyed with a Yule Scepter up.
No.
What on earth? Shibi annihilated with the Ice Blast. Maybe they can kill Swindles here. That cat should bounce back and forth between them, and they will kill the Slardar at the very least. But Nusham just right-clicked down by the side-blading Templar Assassin. See if he can Hanskin. There's a bit of a barrier. Because Leviathan lose 4. Anti-Mage cuts mid-creep wave to stop the push coming in onto the tier 3, but there's still a creep alive. Still 2 creeps alive, plus a catapult. And this should be melee racks. Chessie's backing up to get earned. We'll TP away. They're not going to commit too heavily for this.
So a big miscommunication to start off the fight as well from Leviathan. We had the Yule's initiation from Lina. At the same time, Jenkins actually blinked in, used the Avalanche on the Yule's target. So that didn't quite bode well to begin with. And there was just more than enough space for them to take advantage of.
See, I was just wondering what Anti-Mage even buys here, because like Vlad's okay, it's going to help you farm and split push, and that's the big reason of getting that item, is just to give yourself that sustain in the jungle when you jump from camp to camp. But I kind of feel that he has to fight, because if he split pushes, he's not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, he can't. At this point, Complexity just pushed so much harder, just on the back of the physical damage from TA, more than anything else. And you can hardly farm your own jungle for fear of just being roamed around on. It's the next big issue. There's TA traps everywhere.
Like, AA just gets one hit killed. He's KO'd instantly. And they're going to go again into this melee racks. They know there's no glyph for another couple of minutes. Even with a cask thrown by the Witch Doctor, Limp is up on the front lines, there's nothing to stop him. Jenkins has Blink Toss. But with Aegis on Limp's Templar, I don't think it's a real good way to get into this fight without losing so many heroes of your own. Stun out onto Chessie with that Light Strike Array. Shibby looks like heading into an Ether Lens of his own. But Melee Rack's already dead, and now a Gyro with an SNY on top of BKB. These guys are getting closer and closer to unkillable.
Once again, we're in a similar situation as last game, where Complexity just in a position where they got themselves just so much momentum out the mid game that at this point they can just take over the entire map, just lay back in their seats, just play some casual Dota, get a Roshan or two, push out all the lanes. And this time around, there's not even a Brood Mother just keeping a lane pushed out. The one that could do it would be the Anti-Mage, but we said it before, it's just very, very chancy for him to do that if with the way that he can be forced down at this point.
Shibby gets the Yule Scepter with that good high ground ward onto Z-Freak, but the Charlottes barely push him out. If that trapped the Lina in, could have effectively been game over.
He doesn't have buyback, so if he dies now...
Yeah, you're right. What are we looking at? AA, Anti-Mage both have buybacks. Ziz will push out top lane. Doesn't stop. That doesn't stem the bleeding. As mid lane is just being shoved so hard in here by Complexity. There's the Ether Lens for the Lina. Increased range on Yules. Good amount of damage out from Laguna Blade as well.
Yeah. Question is that enough? I mean, there's still BKBs around.
Snowball. Jenkins caught in the cooldown. He can't blink away and it looks like he's dead. Limp will secure the kill and Shibby looking just to try and deter any further push forward here from Complexity, but Leviathan, I don't know what your recourse is as the app swindles blink straight in onto Shibby with the avalanche from Hanskin as well. Yules himself, Lina dead. Doesn't even get a chance to throw that Laguna Blade out, and it looks like that might just be it. As Chessie and Limp still very healthy. Anti-Mage taking top racks. Slowly but surely taking top racks, but it's not going to be a trade-off worthwhile. As Ziz's damage is pretty limited. As Z-Frick will just go in, Snowball, Walrus Punch, and definitely force him to blink away, if not kill him off here. As the shards come in, Ziz will blink out. The Urn is still taking over the TP. Hanskin has no stun. And Ziz with a good TP out, well aware of the situation he was in. Gets back to base, but they've lost 2 lanes here. Leviathan didn't even get one in exchange.
Yeah, this... I mean, I hate to call it early, but this looks like it's over. I mean, especially with Tiny going down there. He already used buyback in the fight before. That's the main initiator, so if they wanted to have any chance of taking the team fight, they would have needed that. Top of an Ice Boss, and on top of probably a Witch Doctor, Death Ward as well at this point, which is level 2 now, so they've got to get that going for them. But if you look at the net worth, Anti-Mage is at a decent spot considering the time, but not considering anything else that's happening. A Gyro of 16.5k, and Limp closing in an 18k net worth, now completing the Daedalus. And, well, he will be able to one-shot pretty much anyone if he gets the crit.
This was really well
played. Told you, man, that was a crit.
No, that wasn't a crit, was it?
It looked like a crit. I saw some red numbers at least.
That was just the red. That was just the red numbers from him doing normal damage. Maybe it was a crit. Maybe it was.
Saw 1 or 2 red numbers there, but
that was really, really well played by Complexity, because they baited AM into fighting the Slardar, and then AM kind of turned around, ran away. Slardar perfectly timed that sprint in to jump onto him, allowing the TA to catch up as well.
Yeah, it's another casual one-shot on the AA. Single belt strike. Anything else, and well, should be GG coming out soon. Complexity looking to continue their streak with, I believe, the 3rd 2-0 victory here in the DotaPit.
Looks like that's it. Complexity, Complexity, Complexity. Looking incredibly good. Leviathan just didn't stand a chance. Poor little Jenkins destroyed inside his own fountain almost as Ziz tries to man up against Limp, but he's not having that.
Well, Limp is dead. Maybe they can turn it around. No. Well, Gyro's dead too.
They haven't called GG. They have not called GG yet.
You know how it is. Game isn't over until the throne dies. Still holding on. I don't know what to make of it, but hey.
I'd even switch the overlay, you know? I'd switch the overlay to just, you know, no overlay, just go for the raw game footage, and it's over, but it's not. Fat Lady has not sung yet. Limp did have to buy back. It looks like Chessie's holding onto his just in case. You know, Roshan's alive. Leviathan could go and take that if they wanted to. It's not going to be incredibly quick, but I don't know, getting Aegis and Anti-Mage could be a big deal if he can survive. He's being stunned up pretty heavily, and now he is dead. With no buyback, Anti-Mage. I don't know. It's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah. Maybe Leviathan just realized that the next game isn't scheduled for another couple of minutes, and they just want to
Dire's top tower is under
keep
attack.
down the downtime. I don't know. At this point, there's really not much coming back. But actually, Jenkins gets a double stun here. Caught in the snowball to dodge the cats. Now Jenkins will just die to toss back to Hanskin.
It's
just
fine.
helping his buddy out.
They've got the damage. They are literally all dead. GG comes out, Leviathan. They finally tap out.
Complexity are doing it. No, probably not.
They're not liquid. They're not liquid.
Wait. The one bash on the Ancient.
That's our first series of the night done. Coming up after this one, Digital Chaos against Infamous in about 40 minutes, I think. Unless we can get that a little bit earlier. Elite Wolves against Enemy GG will be happening after that as well. So stay tuned. I think I've got someone else joining me for co-casting next game, but we'll find out what exactly is happening. I think Carter's leaving me. Drag and Drop, I think you're going to bed.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. I would still be available if you need, but
We'll see what happens. We'll see what everyone's getting ready for New Year's and resting up to get absolutely wasted. So everyone's, you know, making sure they don't get sick, making sure they don't get too tired out. But anyway, take a look at the grid quickly here. Complexity, 3 series, 3 wins, 9 points, easy peasy. As Leviathan now pretty much down in the dumps. We'll see how Infamous do though against Digital Chaos, their first series of DotaPit Season 4 American Group Stage coming up in about, let's say half an hour. Let's say half an hour, hopefully. Fingers crossed, but yeah. See you in a bit.